my name is Wanda Tarini. I am the founder and president of ecofilesmobile.com, and we use our proprietary technology to help businesses connect to their ideal customers instantly through our texting platform. I would say the biggest thing, being an achiever personality, was that I always had massive to-do lists. So the concept of kind of being connected to someone like you, for example, that was a taskmaster, that felt very comfortable for me. But I think what happens is that when you are an achiever personality, you have these huge to-do lists and you don't feel like you're achieving because you check off 4 or 5 things and there's still like 50 things left, right? So there's this challenge. So I would say, before joining the accountability group, I was actually getting into a pretty good rhythm of creating daily to-do lists for myself. But I found that it wasn't inspiring me. It actually was feeling very burdensome to have that. So there was this kind of dichotomy of knowing that I needed to do it and it was going to make me more efficient, but then it didn't really make me feel very, very much like an achiever when I was checking off those things. Sure. So I think the biggest thing was to finally be able to take that entire to-do list and start kind of parsing it down into achievable milestones, right? And it makes sense. I probably even would advise it to somebody else, but for some reason, when it comes to you, you always feel, as a business owner, for me, like you're not doing enough in your day. And so to be able to have that cognitive time and also the commitment to say, okay, what can I do in 30 days? What do I want to look like at the end of 30 days? That kind of pares down my to-do list. And then obviously working with you and figuring out, well, what are those milestones on a daily basis based on goals that we established for those 30 days. I think a lot of times when I established goals for myself, it was through strategic planning. So it's like, okay, this is what I want the end of the year to look like, or maybe mid-year, but they're so far away and there's so much time in between to kind of mess up and get distracted. So that was critical. I would say, to be able to parse down that list and establish goals, reasonable goals within 30 days, and to incorporate not only business but personal goals was interesting. That I was going to go in that direction, but obviously as business owners, it's just so it's so inherently part of who you are, personal and business. So it's important to establish those goals there. And then having you check up on a daily basis has been transformational in the sense that I actually feel like positive that I accomplished myself. And looking at, I mean, you only accomplished these 3 things, or maybe the 3 things I accomplished weren't aligned with my goals. So that's, your questioning helps us kind of identify that in the morning and saying, what are you going to do today to grow your business or to achieve goal A, B, or C? And then it kind of repositions you. So long answer, lots of changes, but a much better feeling around actually achieving and moving forward towards defined goals. Clarity, momentum, enthusiasm. Newest product, Catch, is specifically for speakers. I usually sell to corporate, and so the idea of doing something for that is going to be sold to small business owners and such felt like just a lot, and it's just because I needed to manage that that task list a little bit better. On top of managing the task list though, obviously you, Nettie, provide really, really good reflection and questions when we're kind of stuck with our own blocks around why we're not achieving some of those tasks, right? So it's not just about having somebody check if you're checking off the list, but it's actually kind of being able to have that conversation with you as to why I was so stuck, like last week, you know, where I'm like, I can't do this video, and just being able to talk through why. It probably would have taken me a week or two to actually get that video out, and I got it out within 24 hours of our conversation.
That's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yay, Nettie! Wait, where are my Nettie pom-poms?
Ooh, I don't know.
Definitely, well, I would say definitely consider it, but look at it very seriously when it comes to the return on investment of your time, right? One, the lost time of just kind of wimbling back and forth, right? When you know you have this task list, you know you have the things that you need to do, you know that you were an awesome employee in the past and have great work ethic, but as a business owner, there are other things, mindset things that get in the way of you checking those tasks off.
Mm-hmm.
And acknowledging that, and then saying, holy shit, imagine what I could do if I had me checking up on me, right? Because that's what it is. It's Sapari Solutions is offering the infrastructure to basically reflect your personal goals and expectations of yourself back, right? It's not like Nettie is telling you, you should be doing this. You're actually saying in the monthly meetings, you're establishing what you want to achieve. And you're saying, yeah, I should achieve this, and these are my top 3 or 4 goals, etc. And they're just reflecting it back to you. So imagine if you had you checking in on you. Wow, you'd be a powerhouse. So that's kind of how I feel, because I didn't have a boss for a long time. I mean, I've been in business for 12 and a half years. And so now I'm thinking, holy crap. Now I have myself checking on myself. I'm going to be killer. Watch out, world. So just think about that. And if you cannot commit to putting together a clear strategic plan, then it's not going to help you to have somebody check in on tasks that you didn't really think through, right? You need to realize that by putting in the time. I personally think you have to be there for those live meetings with you, Nettie, and the group, you know, to really be in that energy of the group. You're taking your 2 hours to plan your month, saves you an unbelievable amount of time. So are you willing to commit to yourself? And are you ready to you know, respond to your own goals, and I guess be what am I trying to think? Be accountable to yourself, basically. And that's what Sapari Solutions allows you to do. So stop thinking about it.
Just stop thinking about it. That's the big advice. I love it.
No, and I what I want to add is that it's a very unique solution that you're offering, and I think it may be, you know, if you're thinking about it, it may be difficult for you to comprehend like what that looks like, because not a lot of people offer this service. So that's why I kind of create that analogy of, you know, you checking in on yourself and you being your own boss, because that's what the experience was like for me. That's what I expected it to be when I first tried it. And I went in saying like, okay, I'm going to be open to the process. I'm going to see like what Nettie has to offer and how she's going to do this. Cause you know, I wanted to kind of control things and say, I'm not sure I want to fill out that worksheet or whatever, but you have to like release yourself and do the work. And it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. I think in a way what surprised me was that I'm a pretty organized person, and I already had task lists, and I already felt like I was pretty accountable to myself, but I was more like beating myself up. Like I realized I would say things to myself that I would never say to an employee. Like, oh, you only made 3 calls today, when I know that that's a reasonable amount for people to do in that day with everything else going on. So what was surprising to me is that initially I was kind of thinking, I am that type of person, so I don't necessarily need help. I am an achiever personality, so I don't need help with accountability. But I did, and it just made it even better. So if you don't typically create lists and are task oriented like that, then this is really going to be transformational for you. But even for somebody that was a taskmaster, this really elevated my game.